play really any kind of feature in it, as they can't really afford to use any of the shells required, and we shall just have to see. So apparently it's by default faction. It's default faction, so they always a map with CN. Yeah, so this is basically a server config for US versus US, so we shall see. Anyway, Mr. Dogbutts, I think we're about to get underway.
We are indeed. We're going to have to see what the mad rush is and who gets the initial good start. I would really favour logiX on this kind of game, especially with a lot of the fragging power of Exertus being away at DreamHack right now. So we're going to have to wait and see if that is going to hinder them significantly, especially at the beginning of this game where those crucial starting frags basically can dictate the entire game from then on.
Indeed they can. Now the question is whether or not what we saw with the South African event is whether or not air becomes dominant, but I'm not seeing the... there we go. In comes the A10 for the Exertus team, which is blue. And you have the US team, which is logiX. So you can see the A10 looking. And there goes the ATV straight into that B point as quickly as possible. So it looks like they've got more numbers there. Looks like logiX, yeah, they've got more numbers there. And they're now running into a little bit of problem. There we go. Quick kill by Exertus, and they're now in the position to try and cap that point. But there is still another person sniffing around the area, and I think he could be up top along with Twin as well. So these guys looking to try and take the pointers. There we go, fire coming down from the top. As you can see now, loads of fire coming down onto the Exertus guys. So Blackie trying to take that C point. And let's see, as you can now see, the A point being held by Exertus. The B point currently under contention. The C point is being held by logiX, and the D point held by logiX as well. So seems to be an interesting run thus far, but now it looks like Exertus and both logiX have brought the big guns to the central point here under the radar dish. And here, ladies and gentlemen, are the tanks. Dogbutt.
Well, this is an interesting one because right now logiX are rocking two tanks, one at C right and one pushing into B. But Exertus, which have just lost their tank to a Jihad Jeep by Lost Radar straight into the back. So Exertus not using their second tank at all. logiX using both their tanks. Obviously they sent both of them to C, which is kind of the expected places, and now logiX is sending their tanker out to A. So right now this is not a great start for Exertus.
Yeah, it's looking that way, and they managed to get in. logiX managed to get in and nick the AA vehicle as well from under the nose of Exertus. So they managed to get away with that vehicle. Means that they can use that vehicle to suppress any attempts by the A10 to kill any of the armor. And now it's looking like Exertus have actually shut down pretty much most of the logic people at the C point and have now actually captured that C point. However, in all the hullabaloo going on underneath the radar dish, Exertus has not managed to hold the A point, which means they're going to have to refocus their attention pretty quickly to get that A point back and hopefully get the bleed back in their favour. It's 246 to 229. Not much difference at the moment, but there is a big, fat, ugly tank at the A point that could potentially lock them in if they don't do something about it fast.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, Exertus really needed to capture B. They got it in the end, but it was a big cost for them, losing the A flag, and to be honest, not capturing the B flag as quick as they needed. More importantly, losing the AA vehicle as well. More importantly, they're also losing the air battle now, as logiX just seem to be all over them right now, and logiX can really just sit back and let this bleed do all the damage. It's Exertus has to come forward here, and I think with an infantry heavy lineup like this, they really should be pressuring onto D and A as much as possible.
Now, one thing I did notice is Hankies, who's currently sitting at the A point with the tank, currently having a little bit of a run in. He is not only obviously wearing the engineer equipment, but he's look at that. He's also in with a Stinger as well, so he can act both as anti-vehicle and anti-air, and also keep his tank healthy. So good planning ahead there, as we're now seeing a little bit of a battle between the two tanks here. So logiX Hanky obviously with an engineer on hand, but also fire coming in from the A10 of logiX as well. will no doubt come under pressure. Sorry, Dog, but carry on.
This is the lock-in I am really worried about. So if B goes out right now, and Exertus can't break out of A, then you're looking at pretty much a containment here, and Exertus are really suffering with no real power in the air or on the ground. And right now it just looks like logiX are just running away with this.
Yeah, now bear in mind that they actually just broke the back of the defense at the A point. Combined fire from multiple engineers with RPGs, taking down members of Exertus. And what's this? Oh, what's this going on? There's an ATV that's up to no good.
Jihad Jeep.
Yes, indeed. It is, of course, the suicidal ATV. There he goes. Looks like he's looking for him. Can he get him? Oh, he moves in. He's going in for the kill. He's going in for the kill, and he gets, a little bit of damage onto it. But finally, the tank gets down. So it's successful Jihad Jeep there by logiX. And now they've actually managed to capture that point back. So the burn is now, or the bleed, I should say, is back onto Exertus, and they're in trouble. 146 tickets to 237, Dogbert.
Yeah, they lost Ray with his second Jihad Jeep of the game, and it just seems to be absolutely burning it up right now at 7 for 1. And just remember, 2 of those kills have been against tanks. Let alone after he drove that Jeep into the vehicle and blew it up, he then just instantly took out an infantry who was already attacking him to begin with. So it looks like Exertus are now going to change up their plan of attack and go for C or D, which is, I guess at this point, all they really need to do something along these lines, because A is not working out for them at all.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got ICM 14 moving in, activates the active protection, as in comes the Jihad Jeep again, literally taking him out almost instantly. So the Jihad Jeep's being absolutely devastating against these guys, and the slam mines being used very effectively by the logiX team, and they have now, look at that, the point at B is starting to flash. It is back in the ownership of Exertus. The C point remains under the ownership of logiX, but Exertus on a serious back foot. They're about to go under three numbers of tickets there. Look at that ticking going on. That is serious problems. They're now to 99. They need to turn this around fast. This is not good right now.
No, and Exertus are going to go for the D flag, which right now serves better with their infantry lineup, but the thing is, they've got no one to cover B. They should just give up the tanks, and they give up the vehicles in B, in their base, and just hold on to B and D with infantry right now. Just rely on anti-tanks and just hope for the best. Wait until the A defenders get bored and start moving away, but it looks like Lost Ray, once again with another Jihad Jeep, is going to come up right behind the Exertus tank.
It is indeed, and he gets him again. God. Wow.
How's that, 3 now? 3 in a row?
I think so, 3 in a row. He's at 9 and 1 at the moment. And he's proving himself to be very effective with the Jihad Jeeps. And obviously you can see now that as the logiX guys have actually managed to hold that point, they've actually laid down quite a substantial amount of traps for the Exertus guys, and you can see Kravitz just been taken out as well, as now you can see an AA vehicle and a tank moving into the D point, starting to contest that, along with engineers coming in, and Exertus literally struggling. They're starting to lose the D point. They've lost the B point, they've lost the A point, they've lost the C point. If they lose this point as well, they are going to be in serious trouble, and it's going to be game over. Totally no coming back from that, Dogbert.
Significant ticket loss as well, and it just right now it looks like logiX are just a far superior conquest team. Obviously this could have a lot to do with Exertus maybe not having their full lineup here, but at the end of the day they are being taken apart and contained quite successfully by logiX. Pretty much at any place they want, they can shut down whatever Exertus want. But Exertus are doing exactly what they needed to now. They've got the D flag. It's a difficult one to pry out any defenders. More importantly, they've got A being captured as well. But they just seem to just don't have enough people on the ground compared to logiX. Are kind of spread all over the place and able to tie down anything Exertus throw.
Yeah, it's, we've just seen Lost Ray catch a cannon, or catch a Sabo shell from one of those tanks, as ICM 14 still in place, trying to deal with the enemy. And they've had a rough run of it, that's for sure. I think it's, I think part of the issue for them was the fact that they did not secure that A point quick enough. Sorry, not the A, yeah, the central point. the the B point that is now in the process of being contested, and maybe that left them on the back foot. Do you think they maybe committed too many people to that B point and thus leaving A open and giving themselves problems later on, Dogbert?
They weren't quick enough at capturing B. I mean, here's the thing: they took one tank instead of two. The only reason they would have done that is that they were trying to just overwhelm B flag as quick as possible. Problem is they weren't able to do it, and they just got into a slugging match that basically took too long. Meanwhile, the two tanks that were just sitting at the C flag were like, oh well, there's nothing really going on here. We'll split push, one tank go A and one go B. And they lost the B flag, but they gained A, and the ticket bleed immediately straight away against Exertus, and really Exertus haven't been able to respond since then. I mean, right now they got the ticket lead actually, but I don't think they're going to last very long. It says here comes an A10s, Jihad Jeeps, everything.
Yeah, you can see them now moving in. We're watching the Jihad Jeep go for the tank. He flies through the air with the greatest of ease, and an unsuccessful attempt there by the Jihad Jeep, and it looks like he got shot off. So now, unfortunately for them, their tank has been taken down, but they're not making use of the attack chopper. As you can see, there's nothing going on there, as Hankies is now holding on to that point. He's taking a little bit of fire. He's returning fire against the members of Exertus, who are trying to pop in past that fire, and that's Kravitz unfortunately being taken down as the A10 flies over the top. And there's only 28 tickets left for Exertus. This could be a hopeless cause for them.
Yeah, and it comes down to vehicle prowess from the logiX guys. They just got better pilots, better tankers, and better Jihad Jeeps. and Exertus really just don't seem to have a response for this.
Yeah, unfortunately that seems to be the case. So obviously now you've got combinations. Oh, down goes one Jihad Jeep as he went in for a run onto Hankies. Hankies now taking fire from multiple directions from tanks. He's flaming really badly. Being repaired by the engineer, but I don't think he can withstand this amount of firepower, as it looks like one of the Exertus guys is working on the engineer. Hankies has now lost it. The A10, courtesy of logiX, goes down. And so that's basically stopped some of that air power, but with only 7 tickets left and the majority of the bleed onto Exertus, I think this is going to be a very good and dominant display by logiX.
Yeah, but Exertus can win, can do exact same next round. I mean, we've seen massive reversals on this map before, so it really comes down to if Exertus can impose themselves on their opponents and really get the lockdown early, and just bleed out logiX. And at that point, that's all they can do with a 206 ticket deficit. You know, they got to go all out and really aggressive. They tried it last game, but unfortunately for them, they just weren't quick enough at the beginning. So let's see if they're able to do that in the next round.
Indeed, yes. So now obviously you can see here the AA vehicle covering the areas over the top of the radar dish, and you can see the members of Exertus trying to push in. ICM-14 again having a really bad run of luck. You can see 3 and 9, that poor tanker, he's had such a rough run. And 203 tickets to 0. Wow, Dogbert, that was pretty mad.
203 tickets is nothing to scoff at, and Lost Ray pulling in a 16 to 5, and at least 4 to 3 of those were tank kills with his Jihad Jeep, so critical player there for the logic guys. Exertus really need to just try and get a good early lockdown in this upcoming round, because otherwise it's going to be very difficult to replicate that 203 ticket lead.
Indeed, so I think we'll be moving to the next round where the teams have changed around. I'll just have to obviously wait and see. I think that is the case, isn't it, Dogbert?
Yeah, it should just switch sides. So. Exertus have been playing with a 7-man team as well for quite a lot of that game, so that ain't helping them either.
Indeed not, no. That is obviously going to be a problem now, with a 203 ticket difference.
We're going to have to wait and see if that's going to really push them to go really all out at the beginning, but I can't see any other way for them to be. They play cautious here, then logiX are just going to take this series.
They will ruffle stomp them quite badly, that's for sure. So, let's see, as everybody is in the server.
Well, I can see if Exertus actually take all their vehicles this time. They left one of their tanks behind last time. They sacrificed their armor for the sole purpose of bum rushing B with as many people as they possibly could, and it just didn't really work out. And once again, they just don't have a. Are they abandoning another tank? No,
Nope.
looks like they're going to take it this time. And what is this cheeky movement with these tanks? I've seen this in the last few games, where people like kind of bum scoot them like further down the road.
Oh, that's naughty. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're underway as Barthez and ICM making their way forward. We shall follow them into battle, find out which direction they decide to go. As the A10 is up in the air, the ATVs are working towards as one of the tanks comes under fire. There we go, active protection from the A10. And now it looks like the tanks are moving forward. We've got one tank possibly making his way down towards that point. There we go, you can see here fire coming down, and they've pushed in. Holy crap, look how fast they went for that point. They've got that point almost immediately. The AA vehicle is out of there, and now they've got that B point. Now the thing is, what are they going to do? Because now the problem is that they're going to have, I see here, Dogbert, is the C point. Look at that armor coming into the C point from logiX, and unless they get another tank up there fast, they're going to be in serious problems.
I think it may be a bit of overcommitment to the B flag here. They'd already won the fight there, maybe they weren't too sure, but they brought in that armour anyway, splitting it and sending one into B and one up to C. Tank being totally unsupported at C, just got took out, and this is leaving logiX to move their armour straight up to the D flag, and now they are going to be pressuring Exertus here. No A10 on the field for Exertus at all. And Exertus here looks like they're even struggling at B, so this is looking really
There's a jihad after the AA vehicle. There we go, AA vehicle. It's taken down as the A10 flies over the top and gets taken down by the stationary anti-air. So he sacrificed the A10 in order to make sure that the enemy AA was down. That has been successful. And now look at this. The A point, the D point being captured now by the tank. That's logiX Mali doing a fantastic job there, holding that point. The B point also flashing, and the C point under contesting. But you can see now the tank here of logiX doing a good job trying to take out those members of Exertus as they're trying to push against that armor, but they don't really have any kind of armor support, as Blackie just found out as he got shot in the face by a tank shell. This is not looking good for them. Fire is coming into the likes of Hanks, but the guy is staying low. More rockets coming out. Hanks is really badly on fire. He's got an engineer to help him, but look at those points, all flashing except for the A point. Every single one of them is flashing. Hanks is being repaired. This is possibly, oh, more incoming from the A10. Fantastic shot there from the A10, taking down that tank, and now logiX have lost their armor at that point. And look at that, logiX with possibly a full cap. Look at this, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's exactly, well, almost a full cap. I mean, D is going to go over to Exertus, but what's happening now is they're just getting caught into really awkward and protracted infantry fights, which isn't favouring a team which needs to make sure they hold on to as many tickets as possible. They need to go for big, overwhelming attacks and not get stuck into these little trades of like 3 or 4 men being killed for, you know, not even a captured flag. So grand strokes of the attacks on the map is what they need, not these little infantry engagements which are doing nothing better than bleeding them dry right now.
Yeah, and you can see the tickets now starting to come down, as you can see fire coming in from Hanks, who's now doing a little bit of S-Raw fun onto the enemy tank, who is now running for cover. So he is literally ICM 14. He is trying to deal with that, and what's happening here is you can literally see 2 men holding a tank hostage and preventing it from pushing into that point. And this is the kind of play that we're talking about here, is the power of the engineer to actually suppress and push back some of those tanks. But now you can see Exertus pushing back again with serious amounts of armor. The Zuni rockets coming in from the AA vehicle, and that's one thing that's quite interesting to see, those Zuni rockets being used, the gun then being used in favor or to take down the enemy air and the Zuni rockets being allowed to give it extra firepower against the infantry. So now the tanks from Exertus are moving up. You can see them moving forward, and they're starting to push the bridgehead in towards the A point. This is maybe a change of tactics coming in from Exertus as one of them gets charged midfield by another member of logiX. That's Hanks. He's coming under fire. He's deployed his active protection, but he's taking so much fire as the shadow of the A10 crosses across him. And fortunately, this is a good push here by Exertus, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
It's just too little too late. I mean, the overwhelming vehicle push onto C is really what they needed, but at this point logiX are already just like, well, we won the game, we just need to bleed these tickets out. So small little infantry pushes onto the D flag, really just tying down what's left of Exertus. And right now it's pretty much a foregone conclusion on how the series is going to end out.
Unfortunately, it appears to be that way. So you can see now Exertus now doing what you said they should have done in the actual earlier parts of the previous round, by moving those two tanks together in there for mutual support to actually supply. But you can also see a nice little roundabout move coming in by the logiX tank, moving in towards that C point, and you've also got a logiX guy who's actually been sitting around laying some traps. So this is a combination of good tactics, maybe preparing for the potential arrival of Exertus. As you can see, Hanks being absolutely cut to pieces by that A10 fire, and also RPG fire coming at him from the rear, taken down with multiple shots coming in, as that looks like the Zuni rockets from the anti-aircraft vehicle. As you can see, there we go, nice fire coming in, and now this is looking pretty interesting thus far. Now Exertus are giving them a battle that we wanted to see but didn't get in the previous round, unfortunately, Mr. Dogbert. Oh, down goes the A10. And down goes another tank for Exertus. The Jihad Jeep doing its work. Fantastic play there by logiX, obviously, showing that they can still take out the armour as and when they please. So, what do you think so far, Mr. Dogbert? It's all looking pretty grim for Exertus.
Exertus are just finding themselves, to be honestly, quite outmatched by... seem to have the strats on this map sorted out, but more importantly the coordination to pull it off. Wherever logiX really want to capture, they seem to manage to do it. So I mean, this round is a lot closer than the previous one, but really just Exertus just struggling to just keep a lid on anything logiX trying to do. So logiX are just going to capture A here, and I think it might actually be D that's going to be next in line. I mean, it's really difficult for logiX to capture D, being so close to the US main base. But right now, they're just seeming to be able to put pressure onto Exertus whenever they feel the need to.
Yeah, it's looking that way at the moment, and obviously we're moving down underneath the radar dish to look at the likes of Kravitz there moving away from that point. Been captured now. This is quite interesting to see that even though that point has been captured by Exertus, there is still traps being laid, and there's still another guy down here who's offering to obviously provide extra support. So let's see. That's Double Ohm, and he's obviously waiting for the enemy. But the slam anti-tank mines have been deployed in very, very sneaky places. I have to say, I'm liking this sort of ambush effect that the slams enable people to do in this particular game in general. So you can now see, obviously, the bleed is pretty much equal. Both teams have one cap apiece as the A10 goes down for logiX, crashes into the hill. The victorious A10 of Exertus continues to circle above, and the tickets now, looks like the D points in the process are being contested, and now this could be the moment that Exertus are hoping for, to use their infantry skills to actually hold that point. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're looking to capture that point as the armor then moves out and makes its way possibly towards the forward point, as we're looking at the likes of Bartes 300 pushing down along with the AA vehicle into that central control point by the sea. And now let's see what's going on. Are they going to move forward? What do you think, Dogbert?
This is obviously a lot closer game than the previous round, but I think maybe logiX are kind of biding their time here and just making it a grueling little battle. I mean, Lost Ray's just sitting up on the top of the hill here, waiting for the opportunity to find a tank to actually blow up. But right now, it's logiX's game to win, and they just really need to just pick and choose what flags they're going to push on. I mean, the air power from Exertus here is causing the main issue. I mean, Nightwayne here is really the man who's putting down most of logiX's tank forces. So, and it doesn't look like logiX are even trying to contest that at all. I think that has a lot to do with the fact that Exertus have the anti-air vehicle.
It could be something to do with that, so it's good to see the Black Shark camouflaged A10 doing its thing. And now it's got another A10 coming in from logiX on its rear possibly. Yep, so the other A10 unfortunately taken down almost immediately by the rapid fire of the anti-air vehicle for Exertus. And now you can see the points being captured. There we go, the A10 coming in, doing critical damage to that tank as the AA vehicle then moves in for a little bit of fun and games and bullety goodness. As unfortunately you can see there the tank there being taken down by the shark fin coming in from the A10. The Devil's Cross doing its work. And that's looking pretty good as far as Exertus are concerned. Look at them now. They've now got those 3 points burning onto the members of logiX. And they're really starting to play a little bit more aggressively now.
Yeah, I think with the air control now, they're really kind of coming into their own. But I mean, it's going to be dangerous here. Exertus look like they might actually lose their anti-aircraft vehicle. He goes down. So this might exactly be the opening that logiX need to just end this round, really. But right now, it's quite close in tickets. But the previous round was so massive, it really makes no difference at this point. It looks like though Exertus with the A and C hold, with the B and D hold, they could bleed out quite a lot of tickets. They just need to finish off the capture of either A or C here, and they're really going to cause a lot of issues. And I think they're going to probably try that at C right now. If there can be enough people to respawn in time, unfortunately there's not. So really, I'm not actually sure where Exertus are trying to put their effort in here.
You can see the D point was starting to be contested, and you can see now that you can see the logiX guys in that building doing the contesting onto that point. As you can see, fire coming in as members of logiX are being taken down. Hanky's there as well. One of the other guys inside the building. You can see fire coming in, so let's see if we can lock in with Mr. Kravitz, find out what he's up to. So obviously there's Kravitz looking for his enemy. He knows his teammate is dead nearby, and he's going to be moving in very quietly. And let's see if we can actually lock in on the A10 of Exertus. If we can find it. Ah, another Jihad Jeep is in the field, courtesy of logiX. Now, I'm not seeing any air vehicles right now. That's strangely quiet. That concerns me. Yeehaw! Nice flying run in there by the ATV onto the point. As now you can see, obviously, that was a fantastic jump there by one of the logiX team members. As literally most of the fire... What's going on? Because I'm not seeing that many spawns by Exertus. As now you can see the 2 tanks coming out of their spawn. The active shield being deployed. The other tank pushing in towards the point, but he's going to get into a world of hurt very soon as the A10 there getting taken down. And let's see who is in that A10.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of the Exertus guys aren't even spawning in anymore, and it kind of shows as they don't have any flags on the map. So right now it's just logiX cementing their victory.
Indeed, it appears to be that, as you can now see. Let's see if we can find out who's in there. So there's Nice to Meet You, Hanky's in the tank, Lost Ray in Jihad. It's White Valox. So White Valox is in the A10, as you can see. The Gal Cannon. And you can see him in the process of trying to ensure that the enemy air vehicle stays down on the ground and as flat as a pancake. And you can see, yeah, pretty much most of the Exertus guys now have spawned in. But look at this long distance fire.
All over A and all over B in a mass wave, and that's kind of what they need to do. Really to just show that they are still a top team and not to just go quietly into the night. And I mean, with A and B is kind of the critical ones that you can hold with infantry, but they're the kind of ones that eventually, slowly but surely, become very untenable when tanks start rolling in.
Indeed,
it looks like
yes.
that's what's happened.
Indeed, that's exactly what happened at the A point. Not looking good here for Exertus, but logiX with a good display thus far. And you can see, obviously, Hankey's in there in the process of being repaired by his engineer friend. And obviously getting his armour back up to a suitable level of repair as we move down underneath the radar dish towards the fight that is raging for the B point, involving logiX up above and Exertus down below. And they've managed to hold on to that point, so it's a good thing in that respect. The D point now being contested also by Exertus. You can see they're moving in with the AA vehicle and the tank, but there's also waiting in, look at this, waiting. In comes the Jihad Jeep. There we go, he's going after Nice to Meet You, and he gets him. Oh, Nice to Meet You, literally tried to get out of the way as quickly as possible, but the Jihad Jeep being run by this man here, Mr. Lost Ray, really effective with that Jihad Jeep. I have to say, his play and his timing has been absolutely fantastic. He won't necessarily attack straight away. It's like he's waiting for the enemy to relax and think, I'm safe, and then literally rides that ATV straight in to do some damage.
Yeah, he especially in the first round, he did so much damage to Exertus that they really weren't able to recover. I mean, he was able to, first of all, take out every tank that Exertus put onto the field, but more importantly, didn't die in the attempt, and then was able to capture flags and kill infantry. That's the kind of play that you want in a guy, and more importantly, the kind of plays that you can cement a victory around, and that's really what they've been able to do in this game.
Yeah, definitely. As the A10, unfortunately, the black shark is now the flaming shark, and our pilot has had to bail. Got caught up on the wires as he was making his way around. So let's see, that's Night. So that was Nightwayne in there as the pilot, and now he's running into combat, and ATVs rolling around all over the place, as you can see them pretty much. Now, I noticed the difference between them is the fact that Exertus are using the ATVs for transport, and logiX are using them offensively for taking out enemy vehicles. And I wonder if that's really the difference, the way that both of these guys, or both these teams, are actually using those ATVs to their advantage.
Well, both teams have been using Jihad Jeeps. It's just that, unfortunately for Exertus, logiX, especially with Lost Ray, have been much more effective with it. Usually, when your team finds yourself quite locked into points and not so mobile, that's really when you start using them quite a bit. I mean, they're basically to just get to a flag as quick as possible. It's better than walking.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. So we shall follow the likes of Bartes 3000, or 300 I should say, and he's looking to try and take one of those points over as quickly as he can. Let's see if we can actually find another air vehicle. So we're in with White Valox from logiX. As you can see, we're in following him. He's got the 30mm GAU, and he is doing a fantastic job, and he's literally checking their spawn to see where those vehicles spawn, to see if one of the tanks has come up, and literally trying to take out the vehicle. Oh, very nearly caught his wing there. Trying to take out those vehicles before they're actually able to get onto the battlefield. So this is what you call effective air dominance here, and unfortunately I think he may have just noticed the enemy A10, and you can see the enemy A10 now engaging him, as he's now literally trying to circle, loop the loop, trying to get away from his enemy. He's probably checking on his 6 to find out what's going on. The air radar giving him a little bit of extra visibility, locks onto his enemy and starts firing the GAU cannon. And really, this has been one of the key aspects of Conquest, mentioned by Hustler the other day, is that the air battle is the first battle that you have to win, because everything else is based off that.
Yeah, and that's pretty much been the case of Battlefield from the beginning of its iterations, really. Um, maybe on this map, maybe not so bad. I mean, it's devastating, but you can kind of survive it. More importantly, planes spawn quite quickly, so you always have to be on your toes. But yeah, it does seem to be so important.
Indeed it is, and Nightwayne is the man in the yellow shark. So as you can see, the shark camouflage of his A10, and I do hope you guys are not going to get too dizzy too badly, so I apologise if anybody ends up throwing up on their keyboard. It's not my intention, but I think we'll move away from that looping fight, as it will endanger your intestinal fortitude. As you can see, essentially these two guys getting into a loop-de-loop, and they could be there for hours. So you can see obviously more Jihad Jeeps moving out from the logiX team, and look at the scores. I mean, you know, you can see there the scores are pretty even. You don't see a very high kill to death ratio in Conquest games of this kind, unless somebody goes onto a rather nasty tank rampage. And now you can see the point here. XTS I should say, ICM 14 holding on to that point. Another Jihad ATV going for the anti-air vehicle. And nice to meet you. Unfortunately, he meets a slam mine. And let me guess, is that Ray again? It is! Lost Ray! Look at that. I mean, okay, granted, he's 5 for 8, but holy crap, he's proved himself to be very effective with those Jihad Jeeps. Fantastic to watch. And obviously great to see in Conquest competitive.
Yeah, I'm happy to see Jihad Jeep making its return. Something that was my job back in Battlefield 2 before I got picked up by Dig. That was what I originally used to do for multiplayer BF. It was it's a fun role and very rewarding when you manage to pull it off. So Lost Ray there managing to be absolutely critical, especially in the first round.
Indeed, indeed. So great to see there. Unfortunately, I think Exertus need to go back to the drawing board on that one, as unfortunately they didn't really make that serious a dent. I mean, they were starting to pull it back. They were starting to do a good job of taking it to the logiX guys, but unfortunately, as you said in the cast, it was too little too late. That's what they should have done in the first round, and unfortunately, as a result, logiX stomped all over them in the first round by 203 tickets, gave them a massive advantage, which meant that logiX could literally sit back and coast and wait for the tickets to run out.
Yeah, and it really just comes down to the dominant vehicle logiX that really just wasn't in any way evident on the Exertus lineup. Very much a heavy infantry play, which really just didn't work out.